Hello my Dotty family and welcome to my channel. Come and join me on this magical journey through the world of dot art. I'm Zelda from the Faerie realm and today we're going to do a chakra mandala. If you are a beginner and new to my channel, please go and check out the fundamentals playlist to get you started. And once you've done that, you can definitely try out the beginners just like this one. So I've already prepped my canvas into a 14 section design. If you don't know how to do that, please go and check out under the fundamentals on how to prep your canvas. That will do a different amount of sections. This is 14 that we're going to be working with, but I'm going to modify this to 28. Now, how we're going to do that is first you're going to prep it into 14 sections, and then you're going to divide just by hand every one into another half, and then you're going to connect that all with your ruler. For this video, you're going to need your dotting tools running from 3mm to 13mm, your ball tools, your palette with your water, and then your paints. So these are the colors that I've chosen. I've chosen the neon colors. You can choose any colors you want, just have 7 of them ready. So I'm going to be referring to my color 1 as the red one, color 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, the last one. I think we are ready to get started. Grab your 13mm and color number 1. And let's get that center dot in. Then you're going to grab your yellow tool, the small ball side, and with that same color, the red one, you're going to dot as close to the center dot as possible without touching, and you're going to dot on the north, east, south, and west lines. So how you can check that is just see which line runs exactly to the center of the edge of your canvas, and that will give you an indication which one is north, east, south, and west. Then color number 2, same tool. Now you're going to dot on the line just to the right of the dot, or clockwise to your previous dot. So going clockwise next to it, that side, and clockwise. And that process you're going to continue with all of your colors. Next, you're going to jump to your all ball side of your tool. So my red fell there. So I'm going to jump clockwise, not to the next line, but to between the 2 straight lines right there. And then the same with this one. So just clockwise to between the 2 straight lines, not on them. And that you're going to do for all of the colors again. So in the same sequence. So of course next to that one is going to be the orange, or color number 2. And the last one there. And that process you're also going to do with all of your colors. So what's basically happening here is they're falling in the alternate spacing for each and every consecutive layer. So as you can see here, the alternate spacing between the orange and the red fell there. So some of my lines are not 100%, and I'm sure some of yours also not, but just space out your dots so that they more or less fall, and when they expand into those lines. So don't expand off of your lines, expand onto your lines. Next, we're going to use the blue tool, the big ball side, and you're going to repeat the process again. So this time we are jumping back onto the straight lines. So that one was between, which means that it should be on that straight line right there. It's starting to touch my circle, which means that all of these ones in relation to that circle now need to touch it. I'm jumping back onto the straight lines here. So this is very fine, delicate planning work, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes easy. But don't stray from the lines, stay on the straight lines, and just see in relation to your circle where your dots are falling, and keep all of them that distance far away, because we want our designs to expand equally on all sides, and that's why the circles are there. As you probably noticed, I just added a bit of extra paint to some of the dots that looked a little bit smaller than the rest. And then these two dots here that got married, I'm going to separate them a little bit later. And that I do with a beading needle. So if you have one around, that's definitely going to help you a little bit later, but we'll get to that. Next, we're going to take our green tool, the big ball side, and we are going to continue with this pattern. So the last one was on the straight line, which means the next one must be in between the straight lines, like so. And then we're just going to continue that once again, so it's the same pattern we're following at this point. So with your 3mm tool, you're going to do the next layer, jumping back onto the straight lines. And then we're going to repeat the process again for all of the colors. The 4mm tool. Again, we're going to jump to between the straight lines in that little alternating space right there. In relation to the circle, just see where your dot should fall. So mine is about 2mm away from the next circle. And again, for all those colors. And then we're going to do the last layer in our 5mm tool. And with that, jumping back onto the straight lines. So now mine is basically on the circle. So I'm just keeping an eye on how quickly it expands. And the reason why I'm stopping with this as the last one is because we have 7 colors, 7 chakras, and we have 7 dots in that line. So all about the little numbers. Okay, back to Superman mode. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And that's just the start. Next up, we're going to be dotting some circles. So before we do that, I want us to have some lines that we can dot on, or some circles. So I'm just going to put my compass back in there. We're going to dot over that, so don't worry about it. And I want to draw the circles where my dots are going to fall on. So we're going to do 3 different layers. So just space them about, I'd say about 2 millimeters apart for each one, just so that we can follow that while we're dotting. Then we're going to take our blue tool and the big ball side, and then with color number 1, we are going to make a dot on each and every single, so on the intersection of the circle, so you can follow it, and then on each and every single straight line, like that. Then we're going to take color number 2. Now I want to fit 2 dots in between each of those. So if there is not enough space, like this one here is a little bit small, then I'm just going to flip my tool around and use the all ball side to get my dot in there. But if it is a space that is big enough, then I'm going to use the big ball side. So to the right of each of your balls, or going clockwise, you're going to do color number 2 and then just add that little extra dot in there, and then just leave space for 1 more dot to fit in there, and that you're going to do all the way around. And then with color number 3, we're going to fill in that little last space so we can complete our circle. Again, if the space is a little bit too small, then you can use the all ball side. So I just keep on flipping my tool around depending on which size will fit in here. And that's also just for you to decide and just to see what works for you. And I'm going to do that with all of it. Then with the same tool, I'm going to do color number 3 again. Now, as you can see here, I've got 2 yellow on that side, so I'm going to go in the alternate spacing where the orange and the red is, because I don't want my yellows to be on the same line. So with my circle, I can see that I'm not going to dot on the circle itself, because that will leave too much space between my 2 circles, and that's why I'm just doing the alternate spacing. So I'm basically just touching that circle of mine. So that's the spacing I'm going to keep with for this specific circle. And then what I'm going to do is the other 2 colors. So that's going to be color number 4 and then color number 5. So clockwise, this one is going to go next to yellow, and then this one is going to follow. And I'm going to do the exact same thing like I did with the inside circle, and just complete those open spaces again with this tool as well. So back to Supergirl mode. Alright, so got that one done. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, some of them I dotted like 2 times, because the thing is I'm trying to occupy as much space of it that's available that I can. So I want them to be about equally far away from each other, and if that means that some of the dots need to be a little bit bigger and some need to be a bit smaller, then that is what I do. So that also helps with getting your spacing even. Now we're going to do one more circle. This time we're going to start with color number 5, and then as we did with the yellow, so I don't want them to touch, I'm going to dot it right there in that alternating space. So again, we're doing alternate spacing, and then following that is going to be color number 6 and then color number 7. So color number 6 is going to be clockwise next to this one, and then color number 7 is going to fill in the other spaces. Supergirl mode! Oh, this is coming together so nicely. So that's it for part 1, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys in the next part. Stay dotty, stay magical, keep well. Bye-bye.